So while the Senate moves to a vote this week, Iran continues to enrich, itself a brazen violation of 6 United Nations Security Council agreements against just that.
It seems so intent upon negotiating a deal that it doesn't seem to matter what the contents of that agreement are.
Iran is not a country like the United States, which is why we care so much about getting this nuclear deal right.
We continue to see an Iran regime that has not changed in more than 30 years, hasn't changed in the last 48 hours.
The sanctions that have been imposed have really hurt.
Well, I think that's even another reason, Bill, why the American people ought to have a right to see this agreement before it goes to the United Nations, and that's what's being debated on the floor of the Senate right now.
Our national security interests require a permanent and verifiable end to Iran's nuclear weapons program.
The Iran Nuclear Agreement Review Act would also make sure that any agreement with Iran is verified and enforced.
Is that without this legislation, we would not have a say at all on the president's nuclear deal with Iran.
And we and the rest of the world are trying to negotiate to a point where Iran does not now nor will it ever have a nuclear weapon.
The White House and the Ayatollahs in Iran must know that the United States Congress will not tolerate a bad deal.
Republican lawmaker Orrin Hatch telling the FT that Democrats are expected to face pressure from labor unions and more work is needed. The bill could go to a full Senate vote over the course of this week.
When we trade internationally, we create jobs, we raise incomes for people all across this country.
Countries that actually trade together are much less likely to go to war against each other.
So it has a ripple effect that benefits many other businesses and allows them to create more jobs as well.
Trade is another important way to advance our common values and strengthen our national security and economy.
Trade should not be, nor is it ever intended to be, a partisan issue. It's about the well-being and the jobs of the American people.